If you are familiar with this channel, you'll know that often I use video clips from people on the far left, ranging from the mildly woke to the fully insane, and often they sport the same styles. Many of them will have brightly coloured but unkempt hair, often that looks like they've cut it themselves. Many wear massive oversized glasses as if they're paying tribute to Eric Morecambe circa 1977. And the third one, the biggest giveaway, the septum piercing. Of course, not everyone with a septum piercing is a swivel-eyed lunatic. Rob Flynn from Machine Head, he's had a septum piercing since the 1990s. The actress Florence Pugh, she's got one, and to be blunt, I'd like a go on her. It's similar to the way that not every drag queen is a danger to children, but the red flag is there, pay attention to it. And apparently, there's a thing going around online called septum theory or septum ring theory. So first of all, we'll see what a couple of people who have septum piercings think that theory is.
I mean, Randy, sorry about that really close wording. I don't know what the septum theory is, but I'm going to assume, because it sounds like to me that the septum theory would be like when a really hot girl gets a septum piercing and then it makes her like 10 times hotter. And for that I say thank you. Not only am I hot, but I am very successful. So that's always great when someone acknowledges and notices it. I did notice that you commented that multiple times on all these different videos of mine. So I guess my presence would show up on your For You page. And to that I say, you have been acknowledged and noticed. So you can sleep well tonight. My cat. But yeah, so thank you for the compliment. I really appreciate it.
Some people use the argument that the far left live in echo chambers and are crippling narcissists. Yeah, that. I mean, she seems pleasant enough, although somewhat up herself. I don't know what mirror she's using, but if you're watching, love, Dua Lipa, you are not. Yet the idea that a hot woman, by getting a piece of metal put through the cartilage in her nose, becomes 10 times hotter. It does seem a bit ambitious. I bet Randy feels better though. Now that he's finally been acknowledged and noticed, he can sleep well knowing that his earthly labours are finally over. No, septum ring theory doesn't mean that woman gets 10 times hotter. That's not what Randy meant.
I was actually really late to the septum piercing theory situation because, believe it or not, I'm not chronically online like some people. But what I've gleaned is that people with septum piercings tend to have really good understanding and autonomy over their body and really good boundaries and clear views as to what they want for themselves and their communities. And so people who are insecure really hate that because they can't control and shape that person into being what they want them to be. And so when it comes to dating and relationships and finding people to hook up with or, I don't know, get your validation from, somebody with a septum piercing is often a really bad candidate because you know yourself that you're a shitty person. And so if you go near them, the person with the septum is going to know that because they have a really good understanding of the world and their boundaries and whatever. And so you know in your heart of hearts that person is going to be oh, hard pass. And so to just overcome that little bit of rejection, you've got to jump in first and be but you liberal swine. Correct. Yes. I will happily be the poster girl for septum piercing theory.
What she's gleaned, arc at you, love, with your fancy words, is that people with septum piercings have understanding of their bodies and their boundaries, and an almost superhuman, unwavering sense of confidence. And her theory, and I'm using the word very loosely, that because she and others of her ilk have a piece of jewellery hanging between their nostrils, they are somehow superior in every aspect of life and beyond, morally, intellectually, spiritually, because those of us who don't have that piercing, we are inferior, we are dark creatures. We want to manipulate and control others because deep down we hate ourselves. If only we could get the magical nose piercing. that would lift us up above the angels so that God himself would have to look up upon us. It does seem a bit egotistical. When I get home, I might get one of Mrs. Disgruntled's earrings, and put it through my conch. Conch, C-O-N-K. But I doubt that having a small piece of metal hanging from my nose would lead me to feeling almost messianic. So that's what people who've got septum piercings think the theory means. We'll now move on to the prosecution, presented by me. But to be fair, let's start off with what AI thinks it means. So I asked Samsung's Gemini AI about septum piercing theory, and this is the phrase that stood out. People with septum piercings are either unattractive or that they centre their personality around past trauma, making them attention-seeking or emotionally unstable. AI's getting fucking good.
Dude, if the Democrats lose an election during a full authoritarian takeover, like, we're at the fucking heart of the imperial core, and we're experiencing the absolute worst material conditions that have hit since kings and queens have existed and ruled this world. What the fuck are we doing, guys? If we lose what are we doing? The Democrats are so lost, and they think that American Psycho is gonna help, and I'm terrified of that.
The AI didn't add that people with septum piercings are most likely far left-leaning, and if they are citizens of the new world, they'll be overly obsessed with Donald Trump. Attention-seeking. The heart of the imperial core. Imperial! Have these guys started a fucking empire? And the worst things in kings and queens? What the fuck is he on about? I'll be blunt, I don't understand his arguments, but I put that clip in so it wouldn't just be made up of clips of women. #feminism.
Everything is terrible and the idiots are in charge. I had to write to the NIH to ask if I should get a new COVID vaccine because they're taking away the COVID vaccine soon. They're talking about it, but they're talking about doing it fast. So I want to get the vaccine before they do that. And they said, yes, I should definitely get the vaccine. That will be my 7th COVID vaccine. I have gotten 7 COVID vaccines. I had to go through my history because my doctor's what is she? What's her official title? I don't know. She's a doctor, but she's not like my doctor. She's like down here. Asked me if I got my RSV, and I honestly couldn't remember. So I was trying to look it up in CVS, and I couldn't find it in CVS. And so I had to go through my conversation history with Kat to find it. But then CVS would load it, and I found out I got it on Valentine's Day. And I'm just looking at my history of vaccinations, and it's crazy. This would make, if an anti-vaxxer saw the list that I'm looking at right now of vaccinations, I have COVID, flu, RSV, flu, HIV, polio, Tdap, MMR, shingles, hepatitis A, flu. That's crazy. Oh, polio. That's so many. HPV. Yeah, so many. They would just freak out.
Right. Brightly coloured hair, big glasses, manic stare, and the septum piercing. I want to be clear here, I am vaccinated. If you go back through my old channel, my contempt for anti-vaxxers during the pandemic is evident, because back in 2020, I obeyed all the rules. However, this woman, like so many, appears to have been caught up in the pandemic. COVID broke so many people, like her. And I noticed after 2020, that's when we started getting all of the morbidly obese, septum-piercing, blue-haired they-thems. But fuck me, is she obsessed with vaccinations. The one that stands out for me, though, is she says she's been vaccinated against HIV. Have I fucking missed something? I know that these days, HIV isn't a death sentence. It doesn't turn into full-blown AIDS because of wonderful antiretroviral drugs. No one told me they've developed a fucking vaccine for it. And I doubt they have. So what conclusion can we draw? The first 2 women we saw, attention-seeking, definitely. Crippling narcissists thinking that having a piece of jewellery through their nose makes them superior to everyone else, or at least hotter. The other people we saw, yes, locked in their trauma. The gentleman talking about the Democrats, I think he's still traumatised from 2016, from the first time Trump got into office. The other woman with the hideous hair, she's still trapped in 2020. So what do I think? In conclusion, I'll go for a bit of a ramble here. For English speakers, many of us know the phrase, never judge a book by its cover. That is absolute bollocks. Always judge a book by its cover. Because when publishers are releasing a book, the cover has to tell the potential buyer part of the story. If a book has a picture of a panzer tank going through Paris in the 1940s, it won't be a romance novel or about cookery or self-help. So the way we present ourselves in public says a lot about us, even more than the conversations we have with others. This is the way we choose to present ourselves to the rest of the world. With that in mind, for me, the septum piercing, because so many people of the same mindset have that piece of jewellery, it acts as a warning for others. That gut feeling you get, that is millions of years of evolution. That is your caveman ancestors saying, something moved there, it might be a fucking saber-toothed tiger. Thus, if you meet someone with a septum piercing and the bright hair and the glasses, that's warning you, back away, this thing's dangerous. In the animal kingdom, tree frogs have evolved to be brightly coloured to warn predators, don't eat me, I'm poisonous. In the last few years, human beings have done the same thing. If they have a septum piercing and brightly coloured hair, it's the same message. Don't come near me, I'm fucking toxic. So in 2025, if you see someone with a large unsightly septum piercing, you can be fairly sure the conversation will be me, my pronouns are, refugees are welcome, Nazi scum off our streets, anyone who doesn't agree with me is a fascist, free Palestine. Anyway, that's the end of this video. As it was, given that my script for this video, was just the video clips written down in order, and then I wrote the word rant next to them. If you enjoyed it, please do like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you could leave a like, a comment, or share the video, that really helps the algorithm. If you would like to support me in making these videos, and thank you so much to everyone who's done so far, there are links in the description to buy me a coffee and to my Patreon, and as ever, thanks for watching. Okay, so she fucking hell. The way we present in public often says more about us than fucking bollocks. So the way we present in public often says more about us than the conversations we have. Says me with me Adidas cap and me shitty black t-shirt, because I've just finished work. Just on presenting in public, I own many hats. This is my main one though, it's my most comfortable, it's an Adidas cap, and something I love seeing with the woke far left, and I saw it last weekend when people were outside, Nazi scum off our streets, was the amount of protesters wearing Adidas clothing. Addy Dassler was a card-carrying Nazi. Brightly coloured hair, massive glasses, fuck I've missed one, manic stare. And they make their trauma their entire personality. They've never fucking moved on from it. Get some therapy, get some help. Don't just, fucking bollocks. So, on that note, for people watching from overseas, look how fucking beautiful the English countryside is.